How would you feel about living in a world in which hearing birds sing was a rarity and fishing was illegal in many areas because of dangerously small, vulnerable populations? Well, in the 1960s, that grim future was more than just a possibility. It was actually on the horizon. But one woman, Rachel Carson, an environmental trailblazer, stepped forward to change the course of history. Her groundbreaking book, Silent Spring, sounded the alarm on the harmful effects of DDT, amongst other chemical pesticides, which sparked a movement that helped ensure that Silent Spring would remain just a hypothetical, not the reality. As an environmental science minor myself and someone who is deeply passionate about protecting the natural world, I've studied many environmental leaders. But Rachel Carson stands out, not just for her scientific brilliance, but for her bravery in the face of corporate and political pushback. Her work actually inspires me to pursue a career in environmental protection, mainly within the government. By dedicating her life to alerting the public about the dangers of chemical pesticides, Rachel Carson revolutionized the way America approaches environmental protection. Today, I'll first describe the environmental crisis caused by DDT in the mid-20th century in America. Then I'll share Rachel Carson's background and her civic engagement. Lastly, I'll explain how her work influenced lasting change, including the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency. In the 1950s, DDT was used widely in agriculture and public health to control insect populations. However, beneath its surface success, DDT actually wreaked havoc on ecosystems. Through a process called biomagnification, the concentration of DDT actually increases as it moves up the food chain. Fish accumulated toxic levels in their tissues, while birds, especially predatory species such as bald eagles, osprey, they suffered from eggshell thinning, which led to massive population declines. What's alarming is that at the time, most Americans actually celebrated DDT as a miracle chemical. Its devastating ecological effects were largely unknown or ignored, mainly by the large corporations that produced it and profited from it. There was no widespread opposition, no urgent scientific warnings, until Rachel Carson raised her voice. Rachel Carson was a trained marine biologist who worked for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Her early work focused on ocean ecosystems, but when she saw the evidence linking DDT to fish kills and bird die-offs, she shifted her focus. Silent Spring, which she published in 1962, was the result of years of research, despite constant attempts by the chemical companies to discredit her, which is what I think is so amazing. Although she never actually held public office, Carson's civic engagement was powerful. She testified before Congress, advised policymakers, and empowered everyday Americans to question how we treat our environment. She faced intense backlash, being labeled even hysterical and unqualified, but her science and persistence could not be ignored. The impact of Silent Spring was enormous. Public outcry grew, and eventually the use of DDT was actually fully banned in the United States by 1972. But Carson's influence did not stop here. Her advocacy laid the groundwork for the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency in 1970, which is an institution that continues to, thrive today, although it is under attack currently. Her legacy lives on in many of the grassroots organizations that formed during the environmental movement that she helped ignite. The Natural Resources Defense Council, for example, continues to fight environmental injustice. And the Rachel Carson Council, named in her honor, obviously, still promotes ecological awareness and activism today. In today's world, as we face challenges like climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental injustice, it's more important than ever to remember the pioneers who sparked this movement. Rachel Carson's bold response to the unchecked use of DDT led not only to its ban, but also to the creation of the EPA. Her efforts fundamentally changed how we think about our relationship with the environment, not only at the public level, but also within the government. Her courage to publish Silent Spring, stand up to powerful corporations, and speak for the voiceless, whether birds, fish, ecosystems, or environmental activists that simply weren't being heard, she transformed environmental awareness in the United States and inspired generations to follow in her footsteps, including myself. Without Rachel Carson's tireless work, we might be living in a far more damaged world, one without the sound of birds in the spring, without healthy lakes and rivers, and without the environmental protections that we now take for granted, as we can see today. She reminds us that one person with science, integrity, and determination can actually change the world.